Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. I'm Jeff DiVeronica, along with my co-host and former boss at the Democrat and Chronicle, Steve Bradley. Hi, Steve.
Good evening, Jeff. How are you?
You got the flannel. I got the Christmas tree. All right, we're looking very holiday-esque here.
Tis the season, my man.
Probably our last interview of 2022, Steve.
Let's send it out with a good one, though. Let's make it the best one we've done all year.
It's a great one. We're going to talk some Byron-Bergen Boys Basketball, and it's kind of, in a way, Steve, I feel like the continuation of the story I've been talking about for about 30 years, because the coach of the Bees is Roxanne Noeth. Rox, I got your last name right, correct?
You did.
Okay. She was Roxanne Chupp back when I was in college at St. John Fisher College, and the Cardinals were, well, actually they were a college and not a university, but they were going to 2 Final Fours in Division III women's basketball. And about 6 years ago for the Democrat and Chronicle, I did a story on her because she became one of the few, we think maybe the second ever, women to coach a boys varsity basketball team in Section 5. And the great story is she's got 2 of her players, and her team this year is 7-0. Byron-Bergen 7-0. Joining us is Roxanne Noeth, the coach, and senior guards David Brumsted and Ryan Muscarella. David, wave to our audience, buddy. Ryan, wave to our audience. All right. Rox, we know who Roxanne is. Coach. I'm going to call you Coach. Sorry.
That's all good.
Steve, you grew up in 12 miles from Byron-Bergen, didn't you?
I did. So I remember Roxanne even further back. Byron-Bergen had great boys and girls basketball teams in the 80s. The boys team, and this was my research, Byron-Bergen has not won a sectional title ever, but South Byron won 3 times, most recently in 1945. But Stan Sherwood had some great teams that ran into the buzzsaw that was Charlotte, and Press Murphy and Chris Tuck, some real names that longtime Section 5 teams will remember. But Roxanne was on the 1984 Byron-Bergen team that won a sectional title, finished second in the state. She got called up as a freshman, graduated in 1987, and you and her have something in common at St. John Fisher. You're both Hall of Famers. She's in the Athletic Hall of Fame, and you're in the Communications Hall of Fame. But let's learn more about that from them rather than from us.
Yeah, this is like the longest preamble we've ever had. Let's bring them on our specialties hotline. Coach, what do you like about this team? 7-0 start. Did you think you'd be 7-0? Did you have a lot of starters coming back? Tell us about this group, please.
We have 4 starters back. 4?
Yeah,
4 starters back this year. We definitely set some pretty lofty goals for this group. I mean, any coach hopes they're 7-0 at the break. I feel like you're crazy if you don't feel like that. But these guys, I mean, one of my juniors always tells me we're just built different, coach. And honestly, these guys are built different than any team I've had up to this point. So they definitely have a killer instinct about them. Like I've had teams in the past that were good, that were athletes. These guys are basketball players, and that makes a big difference,
David, has the group been kind of growing up together, maybe starting in 3rd or 4th grade? Has this been something that's been building since you guys were in elementary school, or is it something that's come together more recently?
Yeah, we play together our whole lives. We play pretty much all year round with each other. We always like to play, and yeah, we've been playing since we were little.
David, number 2 on the team in scoring, 13.5 points per game. Ryan, you check in at about 8 points per game. A couple senior guards. Braden Chambry, 6'4" junior center, 21 points per game, 10 boards, and 5'9" senior guard Gianni Ferrara, about 10.5 points per game. Roxanne, that's very good. I could keep calling her Roxanne. Good balance. Was this team balanced last year, or is this more balanced than you even thought you might have?
I think we had pretty good balance last year. We had one more big guy to complement Braden last year, and Gordon Zimmerman. So this year, I just have strong guards. I feel like any given night, I can have a guy out there or 2 guys out there score 20. But I think we're our best when we have 4 or 5 guys scoring between 12 and 15 and 18 points. So I feel like you play most teams and you got to shut down 1 or 2 guys. Teams have to guard all 5 of my guys, and that makes us really dangerous.
Ryan, on the best teams, players know their roles. Is that true on this team? Does each player know and accept their role?
Yeah, we all are very good at our own roles. We all can play in different positions, and we all make good shots. shoot good shots and get our points during the game. We all can score, which makes it hard for other teams to guard us and stuff.
David, is this the school never winning a boys Section 5 basketball title? Is that something this group is aware of? Is that something that, you guys are seniors, this is the last hurrah that you guys have thought about and talked about? Or is it like we don't talk about too far in advance?
We've talked about it, that's the number one goal we got. And yeah, we've talked about it, and it's what we got to do.
All right, here's a tough question, the tough follow-up, all right? What do you need to get better at?
We like to play fast, but I don't know, maybe finishing. We could always tighten up on defense a little bit, but we played pretty solid so far, but we got a long break and we can get better at a lot of stuff.
Ryan, coach said that one thing that makes your team different is you have a killer instinct. You're able to finish games. Your closest game so far this season is an 8-point win over Notre Dame of Batavia. Where did this group of players develop that killer instinct from?
We've been playing together for a long time, and we've been working together hard over the summer. And now we were down the entire game against them, a couple points. And in the last third and fourth quarter, we came back against them. We all worked as a team and got a lot of points in the fourth to beat them.
So, Coach, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked a minute ago. What do they need to get better at? What are you working on? What will you work on between now and January 4th when you take the floor again against Elba in your next game?
We can do a better job with our defensive rotations. Communication is something we talk about a lot. I feel like I communicate a lot and they're like very quiet, but we see teams that are successful and they communicate. So that's something we're definitely working towards. Just some fine tune, some tweaking of the offense here and there to put us in better positions versus different defenses. So those are the things we're looking at. We're going to have some guest speakers in next week to do some work with our guards and our forwards. So looking forward to that. Like to hear that extra voice in the gym, not mine all the time. So that's what we're looking at.
Steve, what do you think? You want to take a break? Let's take a quick break.
Take a quick break.
As we do that, let's stay on the west side of Rochester and talk about one of our great sponsors, Roberts Wesleyan University. Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, Roberts Wesleyan's back for their second year with us, Jeff. They're the only Division II athletic program in the Rochester region. Faith-based education in Rochester. Some people think North Shiloh. And they have 16 Division II teams, Jeff, going to up it to 20 next year. Had a great fall sports season with the men's and women's cross-country teams both winning their 8th straight East Coast Conference championships, going to nationals. The men's and women's soccer teams both had great seasons, advanced to the National Christian College Athletic Association National Tournament, where the women advanced to the semifinals and the men advanced to the championship game. Roberts Wesleyan College, right on West Side Drive, roberts.edu to learn more.
We'll take our break. You're watching the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show right here on Rock Sports Now on YouTube.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. Add 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got your ride. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
You don't choose to get hurt at work, but you can choose the workers' comp attorneys at Connors and Ferris to fight for your money and medical benefits you deserve.
With over 20 years of industry experience, we will give your case our undivided attention so that you and your family can focus on your recovery.
So call Connors and Ferris, the workers' comp attorneys dedicated to fighting for injured workers' rights.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best three things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Hi, this is Jeff DiVeronica. I'd like to tell you about my friends from Doyle Security. We lost my father-in-law a few years ago, and that meant my mother-in-law was going to be alone in her house. One of my first calls was to Doyle. Doyle has an award-winning burglary detection system, and that gave her peace of mind again. It gave her comfort. These days, you can't put a price tag on that. Whether it's for your family or yourself, at any stage of your life, Doyle is there for you. For seniors, Doyle offers a personally enabled GPS emergency response system. They have a full array of smart systems, including fire and carbon monoxide detection, security cameras, and more for your home or business. More than 35,000 families and businesses rely on Doyle every day and every night. Family owned and operated for more than 100 years.
I don't necessarily feel like a trailblazer, but there's people really excited about it. I've had some coworkers that have come up to me and said, "Holy cow, that's so awesome!" And I said, "I'm just the basketball coach. You know, that's my theory. The kids look at me as the basketball coach. They don't look at me as Mrs. Noeth or whatever." But so, I mean, I think it's. I told Mr. McGee, I said, I think it's bigger for a lot of other people than it is for me.
If she's got the tools to coach us, then she should coach us.
It just shows that it doesn't really matter whether you're a woman or man. Just if you know what you're doing, you could do anything.
I have had such positive response from so many people in the community, people I don't see a lot. I love the game. I've played since I was in 4th grade. I just feel like I have teaching in me. I don't sleep a lot. Since I got this job, I wake up at 4 in the morning and I can't get back to sleep because that's what I do think about is how am I going to handle this? Am I going to be able to make the right adjustment?
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley. And what you just saw was a video that I produced for the Democrat Chronicle shortly after Coach Noeth took over as the boys' head coach. We believe she is still only the second female to be a boys Section 5 basketball coach at the varsity level. And Lori Root was the other one who had preceded you. Steve, I'm drawing a blank on the school.
Down at SIO, I believe, Jeff.
I knew you'd have it. But Coach, you tell us about your experience coaching leading up to becoming the boys head coach. How did it all come to pass? And let's talk a little about your background. And then I'm going to find out what your players know about your background.
Okay. Well, I always said that I wouldn't be a head coach until both of my kids graduated from school. So as they grew up through school, I helped out with my daughter's team. She helped out on JV with Scott Farrow and then moved up to Coach K. And then she graduated in 2015. When she graduated, the boys coach at that time, Chad Smith, said to me, you know, do you want to come over and help with the boys? Because my son was then on the team. So I went over there and helped with them. Had a good time there. And then Chad ended up getting a job at his home school in Livonia. And I got the job after that. So the rest is kind of history. So.
And what's it like playing for Coach?
Yeah, pretty good, I would say. You know, she's pretty good, and she believes in us, and we believe in her, and that's how it goes.
So she's a woman, right? She's your coach. That doesn't. Have you ever been coached by a woman before, you guys?
No.
Either one? No. Does she coach any differently because she's a woman?
No, we don't look at her differently than a man.
Okay.
Don't you have any phrases that you guys pick up on or anything? We ask this sometimes, like, you know, little nothisms or something. You get around a coach and you can hear their voice in your head. What are some of the things that she says so much that you know them? You know, you make a bad pass, you know what she's going to say. You don't box out, you know what she's going to say. What kind of phrases does she have for y'all?
I don't really know.
I'm unpredictable, guys.
She always tells us to play smart. So we're always trying to play smart. Pretty much what we're thinking. And
she always tells us to communicate too.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah, talk.
Unpredictable. I like that. Well, you know, the cool thing is 6 years ago when you got the job, your players were quoted in the video saying, she's our coach. She's not a man, she's our coach. That's what we look at her as. So, Coach, let me ask you this: over the last 6 years, your career win-loss record at this job is 51-50, which is a great album for Van Halen, which our older audience will know what that means. It's also the police code for the criminally insane, if you didn't know that. But we got a 51-50 out here in Bergen. Anyway, in the last 6 years, Coach, have you had anybody, a parent, a media person, whoever it is, question how good you are as a coach? And do you think it had anything to do, if that did happen, with what gender you are?
Wow. I gotta say no. Like if they're questioning me, I don't know about it. How about that?
Well, good.
I had one parent question something that I truly believe in, and that's how important the guys' grades are. I always tell them they're student athletes and they have to be students before they're athletes. So that was the one thing that I was really questioned about. Other than that, I have a great support group from the parents out here. The kids are great. They're willing to put the time in. We don't really have any behavior issues or attitude issues. Like, honestly, I'm pretty lucky. And people ask me why I coach, and they're like, well, aren't the parents a pain? And I said, no, I mean, they're not. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just easy to get along with, I guess. I don't know.
Well, Steve, I'm really happy to hear that, because I've done stories in the past about coaches and parents, and you got some street cred too, Coach. I mean, you were an All-American. You're a Hall of Famer. I don't know if you're an All-American for Fisher, but
all region,
2 Final Fours as a player. Did you guys know how good she was as a player? Ryan or David, did you know how good she was? She was good.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. She has a plaque inside the school. I was actually looking at it earlier and seeing her all her awards and stuff. I saw how successful she was in high school and college.
She could shoot it, guys. I don't know. Do you ever step out and shoot against these guys at all, Coach?
That's really funny because I actually broke my ankle in June, so I haven't shot a lot this year. And David just said to me, he goes, how come you never shoot anymore? But in the past, like, we do rebounding drills and I'll just shoot and I can't miss. And they're like, wow, what a terrible problem to have. And I said, but I worked my whole life to not miss. So trying to miss on purpose is like so unnatural. So yeah, it's funny. Like David tells me it's still, my jumper is still wet, so we're good.
And Jeff never lose that guy. Was a standout softball player at Fisher too. Hit over 400 her junior year and over 40 runs batted in her last 2 years. So really a two-sport athlete. But Coach, Byron-Bergen in the 80s had some great coaches. Stan Sherwood on the boys' side, Bill Wade, Lance Brown on the girls' side. Who are some of your influences? And you had Phil Kaler too at Fisher, legendary coach at St. John Fisher. Who are some of your biggest influences as a coach and that are influencing you now in your career?
As I said earlier to you guys, I still talk to Bill Wade a lot. He's definitely my mentor as far as things that happen with the guys, or if I just want to pick his brain about something that happened in a game or get his feeling on, anything, could be anything. I'm still in contact with Marianne Ermy a lot. She was my assistant coach at Fisher. I've been really fortunate to play for some super coaches. I always think Mr. Brown was like one of my favorite coaches because he just put so much extra time in for me and my game. And I know he was with me the whole way. And now I've seen him officiate. I don't know if he's still officiating, but he was officiating girls basketball for a few years. So like I said, really fortunate to just have the people around me that I've had throughout my career, throughout my basketball life. So
Coach, we're gonna do this with a lot of players, guys. Ryan? How would you describe what's your role on this team?
My position is a shooting guard. I'm a shooter. I usually take a lot of threes, but I can also play inside and score some buckets.
And your backcourt mate, what's your role?
We got me and Gianni are the backcourt guards. I always play fast, always look to score. If someone's open, give them the ball. like to rebound a lot. I always tell coach I got the highest vertical on the team. So pretty much everything, just try to do whatever it takes.
Coach, can you break down the rest of the lineup? How deep do you go? And talk a little bit about, I guess, Johnny and Braden too, I guess.
G is unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. He wasn't feeling good today, but he is like the Energizer Bunny for us. He's out there, he's up and down the floor. He delivers some of the sickest little no-look passes to the big guys underneath or whoever's open. Braden, he's just a tough kid. That kid's got a motor that never quits. The kids always pick on him because he misses a lot of shots, but he gets his own rebounds. So that's why his rebounding stats are so high. But I think if they watch the games back, he rebounds a lot of their misses too. So, and then we got this kid that's the beast, Colin Martin. And that kid plays 94 feet for as long as he's in the game, every game. He just, numbers don't jump at you off the page, but the kid just has the heart of a lion. He'll do anything I ask him to do and not say one word about what I asked him to do or anything. So just honestly, a great group of kids. We have a couple juniors that come in for us. Brendan Pym and Brody Bobby. Brendan has spelled Braden a couple times early in the season when we got in some foul trouble and did a really good job. Kind of just kept us in the game while we had Bray on the bench. And then Brody's a shooter, but brings a lot of energy too. Not, just got a great team kids, just all of them. They're great team kids.
Roxanne, when we look at the Section 5 Class C3, which you're in, you're 7-0. Lions, which is always good, is 4-0. You've got Warsaw 5-1, Cuba Rushford 5-1. We're only really probably a third of the way through the season. How much do you look ahead to prepare for sectionals, or are you hyper focused just on getting through break and then working on what you need to work on in January to keep building this team?
Definitely a little bit of split focus. I have watched as many of them as I can already. We played Warsaw in the Warsaw tournament first weekend of December. So we've already seen them. We have some film on them. They're a tough team. They're a physical team, but I thought we played really well against them. We handled their press. I think having the 2 point guards and 2 or 3 primary ball handlers, we are really difficult to press. So that makes us a tough team. I've seen a bunch of the other teams in our C3 bracket. So yeah, for sure, we're watching. Like I said, that is a pretty lofty goal for this team, but I think we're capable. So we're going to keep working to get better. And we've got some big games after break in our own league. So if we can take care of business there and just keep pushing forward. Every day is a business trip for us. That's what I tell the guys. Doesn't matter what uniform they're wearing. It's a business trip. You go take care of business and things will be right.
This just sounds like Pat Riley is talking right now.
All right. She said she was unpredictable, but that sounds like she knows what she's talking about, right?
Yeah. So here's the deal. It's really cool. The fact that I get to interview a former, I used to work with the paper at St. John Fisher. So I got to ask Coach a lot of questions as an athlete. I wouldn't say we hung out a ton in dorm rooms together, but maybe once in a while, a few times. But it's really cool for me to get to interview you, Coach. I'm really happy for your success, for all you guys out there. And, Steve did some voluminous notes here for this interview. I appreciate it because I was working late for your former colleague, Aaron Johnson, now my boss over at West DiVeronica, the superintendent. But he says, Byron-Bergen never won Section 5 title in boys basketball. South Byron won 3. And then he writes, most recently, 1945. Recently in 45. That should never be in the same sentence. 1945. But look at Lions has won a whole bunch of these things. Warsaw, I know they had a couple good teams, and they had some good big guys that won Section 5 titles, I think. And Cuba Rushford, no offense, you're closer to Pennsylvania. So I knew who I'm rooting for in Class C3, the Byron-Bergen Bees. So you got a fan in here in Monroe County. So guys, I appreciate you taking the time. And Coach Noeth, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview right for the Holly. We appreciate it.
All right, awesome. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it here at BB.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Steve, thanks for the notes, man. I know you're Genesee region guy through and through. So This is cool too for you. I know you're a
Steve.
pavilion guy, but
What?
right?
Good job, Steve.
Oh,
He's a
thank
great-
you. Well, Rich Hannon, let's be honest. Byron-Bergen Athletic Director, Pavilion Golden Gopher.
Man.
See all these connections, right? Right?
Yep. And Coach, when Coach was talking about Colin Martin, I just want to see if she nods her head at this. Modern day Noel Garza.
Oh, all day long. All day long.
All right.
He's just like Noel. Except he can score. And I let him score. I don't think Noel was allowed to shoot very much back in those teams.
No shot clock, no 3-pointer, just 94 feet and tire you out all night long.
Yep, absolutely. That's the way Colin plays. I asked him the other night, I said, we're going to play 3-2 in the second quarter unless you want to play full court. He goes, well, yeah, of course I want to play full court. So he ran up and down the court while the rest of the guys were kind of waiting for him to do his thing. So
It's like a one-man press.
Yeah, it's our one-man press.
Steve, we got to go to a game. What do you think?
We can do it. Let's check the calendar.
And then we're going to probably hit some other places after the game. Me and you?
Yeah, maybe Main Street Pizza in Batavia, buddy.
All right. For Steve Bradley, my co-host, and our producer, Joe Brott, the Byron-Bergen Bees. Thanks for being on our program. You're watching us right here on YouTube, the Cons and Ferris High School Sports Show.